Hello and welcome to On the Esky Pilot 1. It's pretty much just us sitting around. We're going to talk some shit. Sean, what topic should we start with?
Do you want to start with the AFL in Queensland?
Yeah,
Grand final?
that. What do you I heard they paid $4 million less than Perth and Adelaide were willing to pay.
Wow.
I think Perth got stuffed.
That is a good deal. Brisbane is a great place for AFL. The Gabba is holy ground.
It'd be a horrible place to play at. As a player to play AFL in October, I would think.
Oh, it's going to be,
Yeah,
30 degrees up there? And humid?
Just the humidity.
Just humidity would suck.
Suck the life out of you.
So did SA get a few games as well as part of the playoff? Or the finals?
I haven't seen the exact deal. I just know that the Gabba's got...
I know Gabba's got grand final. I wasn't sure if the others got...
Pabby on that?
Yeah, I'm pulling it up. So they had the grand final deal. Brisbane came out on top.
Mm-hmm.
But the MCG will also receive a couple of extra games in 2022 and 2023 in the finals.
Keep the members happy.
Sounds like a fucking bogus deal to me.
It's a Victorian sport one way or another.
Yeah.
What do you think about them flying in all the sports staff, family and everything else, but then everyone else can't cross the border?
Yeah, we're second-class citizens, aren't we?
There's always exceptions when there's money involved.
Mm.
It's always sport.
Mm. What about Perth? They just built a brand new stadium, 60,000 people. You'd think it'd be a better venue.
It'd be a better venue than the Gabba.
Yeah.
They're getting strong crowds out there because they can get more
Mhm.
people into the ground at the moment. But whether, I don't know, whether they just think Brisbane makes more sense because it's on the East Coast versus West.
Do you reckon really the time difference makes that much of a deal?
Well, it's a night game, isn't it? The
Oh,
grand
yeah, I
final?
believe so. Yeah.
It'd have to be a night game for the Heat.
Yeah.
Like
So
for the Heat alone. But in terms of just travel arrangements, the logistics of getting all of the personnel involved to the Gabba would theoretically be easier than flying them to the other side of the country.
Mm, mm.
I mean, I know Western Australia's got a lot of a good setup there for football, and it has been growing a lot in the last couple of years, but just having things on the East Coast does make certain logistics easier, I think.
Mm.
And I'm a Brisbane Lions supporter, so go the Gabba.
Well, I'm looking forward to the Lions playing, if they make the grand final, playing it at the Gabba, home game for them. They win that the COVID Cup.
The COVID Cup.
That'd be pretty special because it'd probably be the only grand final at the Gabba. And if the Lions win it at the Gabba, that'd be
special.
I think it will be the only grand final in foreseeable future.
Unless there's no Melbourne next year, but we're assuming
Melbourne, get your shit together. Come on.
Yeah, we're assuming the Mexicans down there will sort it all out and they'll be good to go next year. But
What do you reckon the chances are of the Lions making the AFL grand final? Like they're doing okay on the table right now. So what? This is the first week of September. They're doing okay so far, but
they're what?
What's their pathway
Third?
to the grand final if they're going to make
they're
it?
Third, I think, behind Port and Geelong.
They're sitting fourth.
Fourth.
So you got Port, Richmond,
Equal
Geelong.
points.
Richmond won last night.
Yeah.
There you go. Equal points though, and so the Lions have played one less game
They
because they were by last week.
They have lost to both Port and Geelong this year.
So my big issue with them is I think they lack a little bit of the veteran leadership.
Mm.
Yeah.
'Cause they're a young club.
Yeah,
so.
very young sword.
But having lost in the finals last year, maybe that's what they needed. So then this year they've got more of that experience, be less nervous, etc.
It's weird how everyone always talks about experience when it comes to finals. I was like, isn't it just another game?
Well, that's why they
not
bought
just
Luke
another
Hodge
game, no.
the year before. They needed that old head
Mm.
to help run the club around. So.
Yeah.
You remember back, Pap, to playing junior grand finals. It's always a different feeling.
You're
And
talking about I do recall my team winning that junior grand final.
yeah,
Against, whose team was? Oh, yours.
Yeah, who was playing quarterback?
I actually don't remember much of that because I had a serious head injury. It's probably
Concussions are fake news. What are you talking about?
Explains a lot about how I am today.
We did win the year before. So.
That is true.
So yeah, we had experience going in. Well, you guys had experience. I didn't play the second one.
Yeah.
Anyways, I think the stakes behind a under 18s American football game in Australia is probably different to an Australian Football League grand final in Australia.
Yeah.
In terms
Well,
of
They do have the
pressure and
edge. You are
expectation.
correct.
it might be very different this year as well because there's no crowds. So, or minimal crowds.
quarter crowd or whatever they're
Yeah.
going.
Because if you
Quarter crowd at the Gabba, you're looking at about 10,000, maybe just under.
yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much used to show up for my games back in. Yeah, it'd be interesting. They've got the side to do it. I agree with you, Sean. I think Richmond or maybe a Geelong might have those older heads.
Because both those games this year very much was they started off really strong, but then those old heads just came in and just worked them and they just didn't recover. So it's whether they could have that kind of, or maybe losing to them kind of gave them that knowledge that, hey, we can compete with these guys. We just got to bring it to their level and understand their experience and take them on.
Yeah, right. So
Instead of being scared of them.
outside of the top four, the big names, so you've got Geelong, Richmond. They're the two that you're thinking are likely going to head there. Let's put Port and Brisbane in the next tier down. Who are maybe some of the outsider teams?
West. You got to go West Coast.
West is on the
could
same
reach
points. They're in fifth in the same points as Lions and Cats. And then you've got Collingwood, St Kilda, and Melbourne.
No.
Yeah, and Melbourne and GWS on the same points as the Bulldogs. But yeah, I don't see either of those three.
5-horse race for me.
Yeah,
As in Nat Nui love.
Yeah, they just stink away from Perth, so that final in
Ruins.
in Brisbane, you'd think, but I think they could win it. I don't see Collingwood, Melbourne.
Yeah.
Who'd you say was seventh?
St Kilda.
I definitely don't see any of them winning it.
Yeah, well, from the Eagles to Melbourne, there's a 12 points difference.
There you go.
So like the top 5 teams are clear favourites. But it's close. Like first is 44, second is 42,
it is.
40, 40, 40. So they're close kind of teams.
I believe that that 8th spot is pretty close. You got that ladder up. Just have a look.
Yeah. We've got Melbourne, Giants, Bulldogs on 28, Essendon's 26, Carlton's on 24 with a game to play. So they're probably in it. Suns at 22 are probably too far away.
I have to add a 16. Blue Baggers.
What?
Yeah, they could take it out.
Carlton?
I'm speaking from the heart.
What are you, steamer all of a sudden?
Heart is corrupt.
Should we switch over and talk about a little bit of sport north of the border? Rugby league.
What do we got? Yeah, rugby league games on tonight.
I did. Do you want to talk about that first? Because I was going to ask you about the rumours of Ben Hunt. The Dragons trying to move him to Brisbane. Brisbane want him back and they're going to go half and half on his contract.
Oh, no, let's go that first. I mean, Brisbane are a right trash bag of a team right now, so that's more exciting than whatever they'll do on the field tonight.
Forget 50-50. Brisbane should be paying 100% for that.
They need everyone they can get right now.
No disrespect to Ben Hunt. He is a good player on his day. I just think the Dragons are paying way overs for him, and if they could offload him, it probably wouldn't be detrimental to the team.
I think the problem with the Dragons, I think the same problem that Brisbane will got at the moment, is with their spine, it's very young. They need that old head. And I think Ben probably needed someone to help run him around the park a bit. So, like, him to go back to Brisbane where they're thinking maybe play him at hooker, where he's played a bit better this year.
I think he's a hooker.
Yeah. Size-wise, maybe he'll struggle if he has to play for full season, making 50-odd tackles. But then there's a thought of...
How old is he now?
Well,
He's getting on.
He's 30?
He'd be getting...
Someone look that up.
He'd be a little bit younger than we are, so...
No, I think you'd be surprised. I reckon he might be 30.
But if all the other chat out of Brisbane at the moment is if they're trying to hunt down...
Hunt.
If they're trying to hunt down...
Father's Day this Sunday. Is there something
Cameron
you're not
Smith.
telling us?
So if you bring Cameron Smith in, maybe he can be that foil, and then you play Ben at 7, and you've got that support that he needs as an idea. And then there's all that chat about... because Brisbane's looking for a new coach at the moment. Walters and Green, I think, are the favourites. But then there's rumours today about they might get an interim coach, as in pay someone for a year, because Craig Bellamy's off contract at the end of his contract.
Oh, Craig Bellamy would be a good fit for Brisbane.
Could you imagine?
Brisbane have always wanted...
Yeah.
They wanted Craig...
That would be a great snag.
I think they wanted Craig... Well, talking to him when Wayne was still there, because his contract at that point was coming up as well. But Craig's already said he's going to see out his Melbourne contracts. He's got another year there. And then there's been rumours that maybe he will retire. but then Brisbane trying to convince him to come to Brisbane, we'll coach here. So
They'd fork out some coin to get the likes of Craig Bellamy.
Yeah,
like that's a culture change right there, and to pretty much go from the worst public spotlight Brisbane has ever been in right now to having someone that's, other than what happened that 1 year with Melbourne where they got the premiership stripped, he's been pretty highly regarded in the league.
He wasn't in the front office, so
True.
whether he was knew about the deals and was signing them or not.
Yeah, but that'd be a huge improvement on just the culture of the whole club.
Yeah, well, if say if you can get Cameron for 2 years, the next 2 years,
Mm.
and then you get Craig come up for that last year, and then you've got the young guys. You've still got probably Brody Croft there. I think they're trying to move Bird on. Milford, I think they're probably trying to move Milford on too, because again, they're probably paying overs for him. So they keep Croft, get Ben Hunt back, and then you've got that young guys pairing with Cam. Maybe that's the future, because they've got a good forward back.
Yeah, forward
The,
backs.
the backs, a bit so. They need some. Tony Staggs is their best player this year by far.
It's Stags and no one in the backs for me.
Oates definitely has the reputation, but he's
Indeed.
been a hurt this year, so it's a bit hard for him.
This sort of feels like one of those situations, though, that if all of the chips fall in the right place for them, look ahead in 3, 4, maybe 5 years' time, and Brisbane could be back up there at the top of the table.
Oh, they'll turn that club around pretty quick because they just got so much behind them to support them. Money.
You
Cash
reckon Cam
money.
Smith's got 2 years left? He's 37 years old.
Well, it's either he retires, because I don't think he's going to stay on at Melbourne, because all the other blokes coming through there want game time.
Indeed.
And Melbourne doesn't lose them, and I think he's like you say, he's too nice a bloke to force those guys to go out of the clubs when he knows, like, well, I'm going to retire in a year or two anyway. And this could be, the next generational player, and we're going to let him go play for someone else. So
Yeah, maybe as a swan song year
yeah,
at Brisbane.
yeah, and well, it depends. It depends on what Brisbane do, maybe coach wise as well. If him and Craig are pretty close, they have that
Yeah, they
chat,
might
and
come
so
together.
yeah. But Storm aren't going to let Craig go a year early, so they'll have to wait him out. But
They're 9 at the moment. It's Isaac Luke, and I think he is washed up.
yeah, good for South, but that's about
He stinks.
it.
He was good a few years ago. Yeah, when he was at South,
Yeah,
he got
it's a while ago now.
he got cut from the Dragons.
Yeah.
So
He went South Dragons, Warriors, or Warriors Dragons.
yeah, I think he's played for 3 clubs this year.
Yeah, well this year, yeah.
This year, 3 in 1
Yeah,
year.
Yeah, he was at the Dragons. They cut him. He went to the Warriors. They cut him, and he went to Brisbane. So
Well, was he at the Warriors and came across to the Dragons, and then they cut him and then he went to Brisbane?
yeah, may have been Warriors.
Because he
Dragons.
played Warriors for a couple of years.
Either ways, he stinks. Sorry, Isaac, if you're listening. There's cricket on for the first time in a long time. Australian cricket team is playing England in T20. I have got no idea the way this could go. They're playing in England, Southampton.
It is the most socially distanced sport other than golf.
Yeah, you'd say golf.
Baseball, but yeah.
Baseball's up there.
Yeah, but they're spitting all over the dugout.
A little tobacco.
Actually, they're not allowed to do that. No,
No,
they've not been allowed to do that this year.
There's no chewing. They've banned that. For
Yeah.
that reason.
really.
No bubble gum.
Well, I'm not sure. I think you can chew bug, but you just can't spit it.
Yeah,
So it's all about the spitting.
the spit.
ban.
No more spit jars. Well, they didn't have spit jars down there.
No,
For those-
well, they have the big buckets, or they just do it straight on the ground. So
That's worse. Oh, it's so nasty.
Oh, well, the old spit versus swallow conundrum. Might have to swallow.
well, back on the cricket, there's stories today about Prime, Channel 7 don't want the cricket. They're saying they're not going to get their money's worth out
I've
of it.
heard
No.
that, yeah.
Because they're worried about the Big Bash League, because the international games are on at the same time. So the Australian team, all the players for that can't play in the Big Bash. So it's all the biggest names. And then, of course, you can't get international stars in. So they're like, well, what we paid for is not what we're getting. Plus, it's a comp that's running an extra couple of weeks, I think. So it's now it's 2.5. It starts in December and then runs all the way to February sometime. So
I think they're playing the same amount of games, but I think they've spread them out. I think
but it's still a long comp, and you then go back into school. So, as they did last year when they got into the back to when everyone's going back to school, that the crowds and everyone was just kind of
the
tuned
viewership-
out,
The viewership dropped off.
which is, for them was their finals, and that's not what you want.
Because the regular season, the ratings for Big Bash were really, really good last year.
Yeah, because
they've been
during
growing.
the holiday season, it was great.
Yeah.
Because everyone's watching. There's nothing better to do.
Yeah,
Exactly
It's,
right,
it's
yeah.
the only sport that's playing in that time of summer.
Be a Monday night, but it's late December, and you're going, oh yeah, watch your cricket. But if you got to be up for school or work in the morning, and you're playing you're watching two teams that can't make the finals, you're thinking, stuff that.
Yeah.
So could they, this year aside, could they look to maybe shift the season so that they finish before the school holidays? Like, is that too much of an outrageous thing to
I reckon it needs
suggest?
to be they play less games. Yeah, less games. Well, you got to fit that season in the school holidays. That just makes too much sense. But of course, greed, money.
Yeah, but
money.
they could potentially
Money.
fit the same amount of games in. Like if you're playing a couple of games a week,
What are they?
if
Were
you
they
just-
playing their game every 2 days, every 3 days last season?
No,
It was a bit more than that,
3
I
or
thought.
4 maybe. Yeah, definitely not every 2.
Yeah.
would every second day be too saturated?
It's hard to play cricket that often. I would think at the elite level.
Yeah,
Um,
I guess.
Even for 2020, like it's still
If,
3 hours
you're
worth of game time.
if you're a fast bowler, and you're steaming in,
Could build up injuries.
yeah.
I'm just thinking, like, if it's something that could possibly be doable to have a bigger finish, like, because every sport, everything's building up to the grand final. That should be the focal point of everything. Like, there's songs for the AFL about that, one day in September and whatnot, similar stuff for other sports.
Mm. Well,
Shouldn't Cricket Australia look to do the same sort of thing, to have significance of that?
We might wrap this up here.
We'll go to an ad break.
Cliffhanger.
We'll come right back.
Yeah, first.
Welcome back to On the Esky. Because we suck at this, we didn't do an intro of who we actually were. So my name is Sean Gould. Sitting on my left is James Webster, a.k.a. Monkey Magic, a.k.a. Monkey, a.k.a. Monks. Across from me is Anthony Pizzullo, a.k.a. Peppy. Pizzullo, what do you want to call him?
Hey, how you going?
And on my far right is Chris Pappas, a.k.a. Pappy.
Hello. Now, there are a couple of guys that aren't with us here today that will be joining us throughout this podcast. Sean, who do we have over in Adelaide on the phone? Well, he's not here today.
Yeah, he's not on the phone now, but resident ranger.
Token ranger.
Oh, and you're getting a bit of a tinge of the ginge in the minge.
Red lives matter. Red lives matter.
They're an endangered species.
Yeah.
Someone look Google when Bash Ginger Day is.
Michael,
Michael
From
Stevenson,
Adelaide.
the steam train.
he does like Carlton, but,
We
he's
won't
got
hold
some redeeming qualities.
it. And the Patriots, but we won't hold it against him.
Completely forgot about that.
He's going to be following Tampa Bay in a second.
And we've got a resident gambling, problem gambler in Joel
Sports
Ridge.
bet extraordinaire.
Yeah, coming in live from Broome. Hey, guys. Franklin here. Put the house on the Dragons premiership.
Save money. And then our two other resident Canberra lads, and David Stoko, aka the Stoko, and Luke Pogson, aka the Pogo.
But does Luke actually watch any sport?
Hard to tell.
Does
Is
NASCAR
reality
as a
is
sport?
reality TV a sport?
Nah.
He was very upset at the result of Farmer Wants a Wife's finale.
You can technically bet on it. So
So if you can bet on it, it's a sport.
He can be our resident maths expert.
Well, if we go back to what we were talking about before we jumped off for a quick break with the cricket, especially with the TV deals at the moment, because as I was saying, Prime looking for a discount, and I think Foxtel has their stuff as well, also looking for a discount. I'm not sure. You think Channel 9 will try to sneak back in there and say, you stole it from us, we might want it back?
They might. It's just going to come down to the money, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. All the money, and I think Cricket Australia very much are like, we need to save every penny we can because we're not making any money.
Cricket belongs on Channel 9.
Historically,
Wide world
yeah.
of sports. Richie
Oh.
Benno.
I think
Take it back to the classics.
Yeah. In the background, we got Brisbane playing Penrith. We thought Brisbane probably get 40 put on them by now by Penrith, but it's 6-all, and Nathan Cleary just dropped it cold, I think.
Yeah, the chin. Watch this.
It was
Shit ball.
Shit ball.
I don't think that was the one he dropped though. On the, yeah,
There we
here
go.
we go. Bang on the tit. So should have spent more time in practice catching balls instead of getting that shit haircut.
I was going to say the exact same thing. The haircut is atrocious.
Dude,
It's not as bad as Jai Arrow's haircut, but it's close enough.
People went crazy with their haircuts during COVID, and it's just kind of really evident when you see sports players back on TV
Mate,
now.
the NRL has nothing on the AFL. There is some serious 80s vibes going on.
Oh, there's some glorious mullets
the
blowing in the
Mullets are
wind.
gone,
The
coming back.
Western Bulldogs, if you got a short back and sides, you're a fucking weirdo. Dead set.
Right, there's a young fella on the Bulldogs. I can't remember his name. I'm pulling it up now. That has the most sensational mullet.
Bailey Dale, I believe. Bulldogs midfielder, young bloke.
I think that might be
Bailey Smith. It's a Bailey something. Just
Bailey Smith.
There you
Yeah,
go.
Bailey Smith.
He's
Cool,
good.
baby.
He's good. He's good. He's got a mane, delicious mane.
It goes down to his shoulder blades.
Yeah, it's fucked.
If you haven't seen it, you just need to Google Western Bulldogs mullet. And
Oh, that's a bit of a hard shot.
Isn't it?
this kid, Bailey
Right.
Smith, who has been working on this hairstyle for a hot minute, it looks like.
It's got to be pre-COVID, right?
Oh, that is
easily.
pre-Christ for how long it is.
Isn't it? Isn't it? The aliens were
That
building
is-
the pyramids when that thing started growing.
Absolutely.
He's playing 6 for Brisbane.
Oh, it's some no name. Can we get that up? No, he's standing around doing nothing.
Darius is playing fullback, so I don't give him much hope.
Has anyone got that?
Pulling it up now.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Brisbane 6.
Wally Lewis. No, I'm kidding.
What decade did you Google?
A decade where the Broncos were still relevant.
Oh, the 2000s.
They won in 06. Come on.
Yeah, that's 2000s.
It's 2000s.
Yeah.
What's the last decade called?
The
90s?
teenies?
No. Yeah,
that sounds
the
terrible.
the
Please,
teenies?
no.
It's good to the Catholic Church. Sorry. That's
It's the
way too
tens,
old.
isn't it? Like
Way
19
too old.
1910 was the
tens?
tens.
The 10s? Yeah, maybe the 10s. That's all Monkey goes out with. 10s?
Say Wales.
Yeah. No. I'm talking about out of 10, not tons. This is garbage. What else we got? NFL.
NFL.
Let's talk about some NFL.
The big stories were Fournette, Kamara.
Patrick Mahomes getting engaged because that kid's killing life.
He is doing very
So
well.
so what is
I'm
it?
not jealous.
Is it the ring? Is it meant to be 10% of your income?
Oh, yeah, I believe you. No. 3 months.
3
They say.
months' wages.
3-month wages.
So he's on 500 million over 10 years, 50 a year.
50 a year. Yep.
By
Roughly.
3, so he should have spent $12.5 million in that
That
ring.
ring.
If he
I don't
didn't,
think-
she should ask for a refund.
That's right.
It's like, you tried, but get out, learn some manners, tool.
If you're interested, Pat, I will marry you for a $10,000 ring. 12.5 mil, that's a fucking few bones.
Oh, yeah. I could have bought you this mansion, but instead I got you this diamond. Penrith going to kick a field goal. So if we go to Fournette, the resident Bucks fan here, they've got a loaded backfield. I think as we were talking a little bit earlier, it was like Shady might get the cut, or maybe they keep Shady and they move Ronald Jones on because I think they were looking at him as one, but they had Barber there that he couldn't beat out. So Barber's now at the
Redskins. I mean, the Washington.
Washington football team.
Club. How dare you? How dare you?
How insensitive. of
Please, sir. DCFC.
Yeah, TBA.
Yeah, I don't know. I really think it's just going to be a situational thing. They're just going to have players drawn up based on who they want in as running back.
I wonder if Brady will push him to have the blunt playbook, as in you use Fournette very much like they did Blunt when they had him in at the Patriots. Do that goal line work, maybe get 10, 15 carries a game kind of thing.
Who's gonna
Smash the rock.
Who's gonna be there? James White. Have they got one?
But I mean,
Well-
Leonard Fournette can catch.
He can.
I reckon, you'd have.
Well, they've still got Shady
Catching
there.
back.
Jones is.
And Jones would be.
I think they were aiming for him to do a bit more, but now with Fournette there, maybe less. But they got Vaughan, who was their third round,
Mm-hmm.
who I think was meant to be that kind of third down back. Well, they're trying to ease him in, and maybe he could have taken over, but obviously, Tampa's in win now.
100%.
Yeah, with Fournette in there, they've got a known kind of commodity that, if needed, could carry the load.
What
Talk
about
motivated as well.
True.
Well, he has 1 year to prove himself for
Yeah.
a long-term contract with any team in the NFL.
And he got picked up for a bargain basement price for someone with his potential talent,
Yeah,
like
didn't he?
former first rounder.
$3.5 million?
Yeah.
Well, the problem is for him, even if he has that was a Lucas shoulder charge. If he has a blinding year next year, I think who's off contract? There's a bunch of them. Like Kamara's doing his now. Mixon did his. I'd have to look it up, but there's a heap of them coming off contract next year too. So again, loaded field. I would have to compete against those blokes for contracts, which might drive the price down. And it's very hard for running backs to make it to their second contract and make it big,
Isn't
Yeah.
it?
because they always just like, well, you're 26, 27 now. We're going to go with a young bloke.
The
It's
odds
got to be
is,
something special if you want to get.
the odds are stacked against running backs in terms of making some cashola, aren't they?
Oh yeah, you have to be, an unreal talent to make that kind of money,
Peterson.
like McCaffrey. But whether McCaffrey can continue doing that,
Yeah, well, that's right. He's had, 3 stellar seasons in the NFL?
yeah.
But the
you know,
workload that was put on him.
Yeah, the
exactly, he's
workload.
getting
The
1,000
workload.
touches
Gigantic.
every year.
Yeah.
It's-
How's he going to do that for 9-10 years? You don't.
It's unsustainable.
Yeah, you don't think it's sustainable.
So you kind of then transition into what AP and Frank Gore are doing, where you're getting paid a little bit of money and you're getting game time, but you're just hanging in there year on, year out.
More of a locker room guy, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
Frank
Here we
Gore's-
go. Penrith's in.
Frank Gore is just an absolute beast of a man. To still be putting out numbers that he does at his age is just superhuman.
I was having a look today. He's 37.
Oh my gosh.
And do you know where he is on the all-time rushing list?
Third.
Third. Third.
Yeah.
Like, you wouldn't think that. Like, don't get me wrong, he's been a great running back, but he has amassed more yards than Adrian Peterson, than Barry Sanders.
Barry Sanders.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose when you play long enough, you're going to be breaking.
Yeah, but
There's a lot of participation medals in that stat line for him.
to be walking after playing, 16 years in the NFL as a running back is incredible.
So here's some of the names for next year. Drake's off contract. Gurley's off contract.
Mm-hmm.
Mixon just signed. Here's Kareem Hunt's off contract. Philip Lindsay's off contract.
Kareem Hunt would be someone you'd think
So both
would get
Aaron
snapped
Jones.
up. He's not a backup running back in the NFL.
He's in the Browns right now, isn't he? Or
Is
is
he?
he?
Yeah,
he's
he is,
second
yeah.
to Chubb.
Yeah.
But whether he steals,
Chubb's better.
but whether he steals too many touches from him, you never know. So both Jones and Jamal Williams from Green Bay. Next year, Marlon Mack, Leonard Fournette. I think they're the big name. Dalvin Cook, he's off contract. So that's why Kamara is trying
He's
to
going to
get
get
his contract
franchise
now.
tagged.
Yeah,
Oh, you'd say so.
you'd think.
Dalvin Cook, franchise tag, screaming all over
James
it.
Conner, Chris Carlson.
Some names on that list.
AP's off contract too. Derrick Henry wouldn't be anymore.
I think
He's
AB
signed
might
his.
retire
Yeah.
after this stint.
How old's he? Has anyone got that?
He'd be
He must be
35.
I think
30,
he's a
yeah,
year-
34, 35.
I think he'd be a year younger than
Gore.
Frank. Yeah.
I think he might be a bit younger than him.
He's a few years younger.
I'll say 35.
Oh, you were right on Ben Hunt earlier as well. He's 30. 35, maybe.
Thank you. It's almost like we could do this professionally.
Actually, talking about the season getting started and some old dogs. Who are the oldest in each of the positions for NFL teams? So for quarterbacks, Brady's the oldest, surely.
Yeah, he's about
Brady,
87.
Brady, Breeze, Rogers, I think is.
Breeze is up there, yeah.
Breeze is
a year-
41.
He's a year younger than Brady.
He's got a lot less hair though, so it makes him look older.
And he's racist, so that makes him way older.
Yeah, I think Rogers was.
Rogers is maybe 38.
Yeah,
he's 38
he's
something, but I think he was the third oldest of the lot.
so Gore is definitely up there for the running backs.
Yeah.
100%.
Peterson following him. Maybe there might be a couple of others.
McCoy.
He's a bit young. He's 33.
34.
Yeah. Shady would be up there.
I can't think.
What about any of the O line? Like how long do O linemen last? Because that's a highly overlooked position in terms of just like what they do in the trenches.
I think Whitworth for Rams is probably the oldest left tackle.
Yeah,
he'd be very late 30s now.
Yeah.
He's still a beast.
Doesn't do a lot of running, but very strong.
True. For what he does, like, he's well valued. I think if you're talking receivers, I think Larry's probably
Larry
the
fits.
Yeah,
Larry
yeah.
fits. The
I don't think
goat.
anyone
Probably
goes-
Larry than Daylight.
Yeah.
Tight ends. Witten.
No, he's retired. Gone.
For now.
No, isn't he at the Raiders?
Is he the? I know he finished with the
yeah.
Cowboys. He's not the Cowboys anymore. I know. Only
He's at the Raiders.
He's at the Raiders.
He's at the
Yeah.
Raiders.
Good on him, Jason Witten. What a bloke.
Yeah.
Top.
Someone look that up. He'd be 37.
He'd probably be the oldest tight end. Greg Olsen.
Greg Olsen's going again at the Seahawks.
He'd be up there, but I think
He's in a good spot at the Seahawks there.
yeah, they got
Russ likes to throw to tight end.
They've got was it Will
Disley.
Yeah, he coming back. He was good last year till he got hurt.
And you know what I've heard on the rumour mill about the Seahawks, speaking of Russell Wilson, Danger Russ, they are putting feelers
38
out
for
to
Justin Whitten.
trying to get AB, Antonio Brown.
Really?
They've been talking
Yeah.
about that for about 4 months, I think.
Holy dooly, Jason Witten is 38 years old.
There you go,
Yeah.
38.
38 years old, and he's playing for the Las Vegas Raiders.
Las Vegas.
To go back to your point on AB to Seahawks, it might not happen now because they just signed Paul Richardson back from Washington.
Football team.
Yeah, and he played, of course, for Seattle before he went to Washington.
Yep.
So bring him back. So they've now got DK, Lockett, and Paul Richardson.
I'm just
So
saying,
there's probably still room for
Antonio
him.
Brown's got an 8-game suspension this year, and who knows what will happen with injuries.
True.
I mean, the Seattle's receiving core is pretty tight right now. They've got Tyler Lockett, DK Metcalf, Paul Richardson's back. Who am I missing?
Well, you're going to throw in the two tight ends that we just talked about. In
Yeah,
that group.
Disley and Greg Olsen. Like, their
Yeah.
receiving core is awesome, and
Yeah.
with Russell Wilson.
Carlson doesn't catch too much out of the backfield, but then they've got Penny there too.
Yeah.
So they've got plenty of room for targets.
Seattle, I think, is going to need to shore up their O-lineman, or like show that their O-line is a bit tighter than it was last year.
Russ needs an
And-
O-line.
And their defense. Their defense is not what it used to be.
No.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what they want to do with Clowney, considering he's still out there.
Well, Clowney's gone. What's he?
Well, he was.
He's
with
looking
them.
for a deal.
He's still looking for a deal. Yeah, he's off contract. I think he was asked too much money, and the Seahawks didn't want to pay that. So
Well, might come down to a case of whether he wants to play or not. But wouldn't someone like Clowney make sense to go to the Patriots because he's off contract?
there's been talk about that, but I think too much money's. He's in the 17 to 18 mil a year kind
He
of.
won't get that.
I know, but that's what
Market's
he's asking
not
for.
there.
That's why he's not signed.
Yeah.
What happens with all these guys that are opted out? Does that money get refunded on their salary cap?
So I think it works out that it's technically a loan. So you get like 300K. Well, I think it was 150K or 300K, depending how much at risk you were. Then it's a loan on your salary for next year. So this year's salary is then toiled, so you got like an extra year on that. So they move it and they bring your loan forward.
So if a guy's on 10 mil and they opt out, then they just got to pay him 300,000 and they got 9.7 left over.
For next year, yep.
Right.
Yep. And their contract just gets an extra year in the end. But it's good, that's why the thought was maybe more of the lower end of the roster, your practice squad players and stuff like that, you opt out now. You get your money, but it's hard to. I think because what's the vet minimum? Is the vet minimum 300 or 500 now?
That's more. Yeah, I think it's 500.
Yeah. The rookies is 250.
Yeah.
So vets would be double.
Yeah. So if the rookies is 250 and you may make a practice squad, you may not. You take 150, opt out. So I thought a lot of younger guys might do it, but it didn't seem to happen that way. Patriots were probably the one most affected by it. They had nearly the whole defense.
Yeah, pretty much.
They had a big amount of stars that pulled out.
It's kind of an interesting sort of phenomenon that it was very specific to one team in such a big way with big name players. Like there was no other team that you saw such high numbers of star players saying, yeah, we'll peace out this one. See you in 2022.
Maybe just because where they were. Maybe, the Boston, Massachusetts area had
cold weather.
Yeah, well, maybe had some really bad COVID up there and they're just like, we're too worried about too much. But that does remind me, do you see Kirk Cousins came out to say he's not worried about getting COVID? And
if I die, I die.
Yeah, that was his quote. If I die, I die.
That word for word?
Yeah.
Smart fella, clearly.
He's like, I'm not worried about COVID. And I was like, all right.
Well, The Rock just came out. Him and his whole family all tested positive.
Really?
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago, so I think they've recovered now.
Yeah, they're all good now. He's on the mend, but a couple of weeks ago, The Rock and his new wife were real sick and doing it tough. And so, hey, look, if he says he's not worried about it, as long as he's still keeping up what the NFL has done a really good job of mitigating any positive cases throughout all of training camp. So maybe that's why he's not worried about it, because the procedures that you've seen in the NFL training camps have actually been really, really good and successful compared to other sports.
I think the statistics, they did like 10,000 tests or something in the last week, and they had like 10 confirmed. It's like they've been doing a really good job managing it.
That's so good in like when you're just looking at straight up numbers.
I was reading about this yesterday. They've had 58,000 tests, I believe, over the whole training camp period, which has been 2.5 weeks.
Yeah,
So it's been longer than that, I thought. No,
because they've had 14 padded practices. So
did they start in August or they start at the end of July?
So maybe it's 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
I think it's longer than 2.5.
It hasn't been many.
Yeah, okay.
It wasn't back to July. We weren't in training.
And they did 58,000 tests, and no players tested positive, but I think 6 support staff.
Yeah, I think the Vikings had a bit of a run of it.
Yeah, little cluster.
Yeah.
What's going to happen this year if a few players on the team test positive? They're going to can the team?
Well, that's what they did with the NBA. Well, actually, no, the NBA. That's what they did with the baseball. Sorry, was the Mariners?
Mariners got wiped hard.
Yeah, like a bunch of players.
But that was like half a team.
Yeah, it was half the team and then half the coaching stuff, so they had to wipe them out. But the same thing, like if say Patty Mahomes gets crooked, do you think the Chiefs are going to play without him? They'll be like, can we postpone and play next week, kind of thing. Well, the question: will they do makeup games? Will they play like we need? We've got a Monday night game. Next week we'll play on Wednesday this week, so we, get that 5-day gap on it, or whether they just do you forfeit, or if your teams are big enough, you go to your second string and then you go.
This is going to be a real
Second
challenge.
string, I would have thought.
Well, second string would make sense, but like if you're a team like the Chiefs that have such a stud at QB, you'd be pushing everything you possibly could to get a game later on so that your star players could play. But this is going to be an incredible challenge for the NFL, an organisation that doesn't have the best reputation for managing anything. So to see what would happen,
Concussions aren't real.
Yeah. You need a Will Smith movie to come out before you'll accept any sort of change. But, this is going to be something that there will be cases, just running by the numbers, be it support staff, be it players. There's going to have something happen.
Yeah, you'd think so.
It's like we've had it here in the AFL, like pretty well managed. But, like, even in a country where the virus isn't too bad or hasn't been comparatively to the rest of the world, still had star players coming up. The whole thing with Essendon.
So So
it's going to happen.
What do they do for that AFL game? Do they postpone it and then play that at a later date?
Yeah, they postpone a few games. But I'm not very well read on the aftermath of that or who tested positive. I just know they postponed a few games. Chris,
it got kind of weird because they do multiple tests on the player. So there was
he was tested and then
tested positive, then tested negative, and then tested positive, negative, and
but why he was waiting for results? Didn't he train and he looked pretty crook?
Yes,
and that's what they were really concerned about. I was like, well, shit, maybe he's got something.
Yeah, so he breached protocol after getting a test. So the deal was you meant to get a test and then wait for your results, but he still went to training, and so then he did test positive initially, but that was deemed, I believe, a false positive later on. However, when you're only given this information, and the information they had was that he tested positive, they're like, all of a sudden, oh my gosh, we've got a potential disaster on our hands. They cancelled that game, and I think there was one other game that got postponed. They played them at a later date.
I think there's been a few.
But the AFL had situations planned because of their bubbles and their hubs. So they had planned for circumstances like this that, okay, if we have to postpone a game here, we'll tack it on to either the end of the season or the end of the week if they could get the stadium.
Well, they did that interesting where they left the draw. They were probably they're doing draws like every 3 or 4 rounds.
Something like that.
So, and they did end up, I think a couple of weeks, they did end up playing
Makeup games.
2 games in a week.
Yeah.
They played like on a Tuesday night and then they played on the following like Saturday. So they could get it all done within the season.
It's definitely not ideal for the players, but this 2020 is a weird year.
Extraordinary year.
Sometimes you just got to do what you got to do.
Yeah.
So I think that was just a really clever game plan by the management of the AFL.
But do you think the NFL, you could play 2 NFL games in a week?
I mean, a lot of players were already complaining about going back-to-back Mondays.
Mondays. Yeah.
Depending on how many games you got to postpone and how you reshuffle the schedule, like.
It'd be very difficult to do 2 in a week.
Yeah.
They're going to have to go second stringers, I reckon.
I think so.
As in,
It's such a hard game. Like it's a different game on your body. Like whereas a game like AFL is very endurance.
What hasn't happened to the
NFL
rugby?
is such an impact sport.
What hasn't happened to the rugby league in that way? No one's really tested or they haven't had to propose.
No, they postponed. I remember there's a Canterbury game versus
Bulldogs.
the Roosters
True,
on a
you're
Monday
right.
night.
Did they replay that game?
They replayed it, and I believe that was the only circumstance.
Yeah. But you think of someone like the Packers, you lose Aaron Rodgers and you're going to play Jordan Love. You're just like,
I'm buying the pay-per-view for that.
Yeah, are you the Packers and going to go, fuck, this guy's got 2 more years before he's going to be ready? Can we forfeit or can we postpone this game?
Chuck him in.
I suppose it depends on what time of season as well. Like earlier on in the season, it's probably easier because you can substitute out bye weeks and all that sort of stuff. But
before
the end of
week 8, you can use your bye.
It's a little bit more flexible, but then after that, sort of gets set.
Here's a conspiracy theory for you.
I love a good conspiracy theory.
So,
yes.
This would be the perfect time for the NFL to try and work out how they play 17 games a year.
Oh.
This is when they should work out how to play 20 games a year. Fuck off the preseason. No one cares. Get some, surely. Is it the shortest season professional sports in the world? Does anyone have any info on that?
It is a little shorter than baseball, yes.
Yes. Yes, I think it is.
I can't think of a sports season that is shorter than the NFL. And we follow a few.
Yeah.
In terms of a team sport game, no.
Any of the major
not.
ones, I don't think anything's
talking about golf. I'm talking about
not a real sport.
Even golf and cricket seasons are...
Golf is great.
Yeah, but golf, you play a major every other week for 6 months. So
16 games, it's very short. They could be making a little bit more money.
Think of the impact on the players' bodies, though. I don't know if
that's
the style of the game would have to change. I'm all for a longer season, but I think the style of the game would have to change, or the roster numbers should increase.
But also think of this: they went from 14 games a year to 16, and look where they are now.
inevitable that it'll go up, you reckon?
Well, yeah,
That is not out of the question.
but you look at the quality in. Well, I guess sports science has come a long way since when they changed it from you play 14 games to now. So the athletes are different. Yes, yes. So the steroids, but whether that changing to 17 or 18 games a year, do the athletes change and adapt just the way that it works? Because usually,
You always would, yeah.
your body kind of just, as part of that playing that sport, you adapt and new training methods, etc., to make it through that. So instead of 330 pound 6'6" guys playing offensive linemen, makes more sense maybe we go for those 6'4" guys that are 300 pounds, because maybe they can play out the extra 2 games and it just changes. But that kind of kills. One of the things that's really good about the NFL, it doesn't matter what size you are, you can play. There's a position for you.
Yeah.
So, which is the thing that sucks about rugby league is you have to kind of be around that 100, 110 kgs.
They all look like the same chicken nugget with legs.
Yeah, if you're 120 or bigger, like some of the real big boys, you're just too big. You can't.
Yeah, that's true. Anyone see that photo of Jamison Crowder standing next to Mekhi Becton, the Jets?
I haven't seen the
tackle?
photo. I know you're talking about though.
Yeah, so I think Crowder's 5'9", 180 maybe.
Yeah,
180 pounds.
Yeah, 180
So
pounds.
we're looking at about 80 kilos.
Yeah, what does it work out to? I think that's exactly right, actually.
You've just pretty much described my stats, except I lie that I'm 5'9". I'm not really 5'9".
so he's 5'4".
So you're Jamison Crowder.
I'm Jamison Crowder. Uh-huh.
Minus the pace and skill. And he's standing next to this guy, Mekhi Becton, who was their first rounder. And I believe he's 6'8", 365.
Huge man.
And
So a monster.
it looks like a child. It looks like a child standing next to the guy off the blind side. Like, that's what,
Take your kid to work day.
yeah, like literally. Like I think that Mekhi has taken shits that are bigger than Jamison. It's unbelievable, and they're on the same team, and they both contribute.
Yeah, everyone's valuable. But like speaking of the game adapting and changing, over the last couple of seasons of the NFL, have seen sort of the rise of a successful committee backfield.
Mm-hmm.
Do you reckon that that's going to play a bigger role this year, especially with the potential situation having a couple of skilled guys, maybe even a couple of passing guys? Like Sean, you follow the Broncos, right? So you got Philip, whoever. I didn't bother learning his surname because I'm a Chargers fan. And you've stolen Melvin Gordon. Actually, we kind of gave him away.
Yeah.
So you got 2 really good backs. Do you reckon they'll go with the committee, or like how will the committee backfield be used this year?
Before I answer your question, the second half for the Brisbane Penrith game has started again. Penrith in front 14-6. Should be 40-0, but we'll see how we go.
They misheard you. They heard 40 and thought you said 14. So they got 14.
We'll see how they go. Brisbane usually plays one half, and that's about it.
Yeah,
That's what they did against the Raiders this year.
The
Raiders.
early noughties referees are leading the Brisbane Broncos 14-6.
So committee backs, it'll be interesting to see, especially with rookie backs too, with limited training camp and game time, how that fits. But for Denver, it'll be quite interesting to see how that goes, because they got Royce there as well, who's the bigger kind of back, but Melvin kind of fits that mold anyway. But you kind of...
I'd take Melvin Gordon over Royce Freeman.
Oh, 100%. But
I mean, if he shows up.
Yeah. Well, that's the question. You've just bought a Pro Bowl worthy running back in the previous years. He's got talent, he's got capability, catches the ball. He's probably going to get a decent amount of touches, and then you'll sub him out as need be with Lindsay. So they're a little bit different than, say, when we talk about the Bucks. Like, it's kind of really hard how that's all going to fit together. They got four guys that can do that.
That are all legit in their own right.
Yeah. But you look at the Panthers, though, McCaffrey's going to get 1,000 touches. So
that's not a committee. He
that's
just does everything.
Patriots are probably going to be a committee.
Patriots are always a committee.
Always
Bellatrix.
committee.
Bellatrix happens.
I
Is
think
Rex Burkhead still there?
I think
He
so,
could-
yeah.
yes, yes.
I
Yeah,
think
Rex
so.
Burkhead, aka will ruin your fantasy football day every
yes.
single time.
Why are you picking him in the first place?
No, I'm not. I picked Sony Michel and Rex Burkhead comes in and gets all the touchdowns.
True.
Ruins my life.
They've been like that for years. They always have, you know, your Michelle, like every down back, they've always got a power back. You know, Legarrette was a few years ago. They've got James White, who's just a pass-catching machine. But if you looked up how many rushing touchdowns he's had in the last few years, I think it would be 5 in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, they don't
That'd be
give...
pretty
You
they
just
don't-
looked at your hand and counted fingers.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's based on anything. I don't reckon he's got any.
1, 2, 3, they're all there.
was gonna say,
I would
he-
put a
he used both
wager.
hands to count for
I would
five,
put a
but,
wager. James White
Mhm.
has closer to 0 touchdowns than he does to 5. Someone hit that up. Monks, you got that?
You beat me to it, Monkey.
Trying to bring that up now.
Peps is
Rushing we're talking about?
rushing, rushing only.
Yeah,
Peps has got. You want 5? Lock it in, Eddie.
in his career?
Should we go last 5 years?
I think that's his career. Yeah, I'll take that he's got 5 or more rushing touchdowns.
I think 0. 0.
I'll give you 3 and under. We'll take 4 and up. That's splitting the difference. James White, rushing touchdowns career, please.
Rushing
Rushing.
TDs.
Give me-
What were the numbers again?
Give me a goose egg.
So Pavis has 3 and under.
Why you keep scrolling it?
I've got
Go
4
back
and
the other
up.
way. Stop there. Yeah.
He's got 8 rushing touchdowns.
No.
He got 5 in one season.
Thank you.
Oh,
thank
which
you,
season was that?
Thank you.
That's got to be a while ago.
No, 2018.
There you go. 2 years ago.
And he's got 24 receiving touchdowns.
That's crazy.
That
though.
is-
that
that
is
is
crazy.
insane.
Yeah.
He's got 1 million receiving touchdowns and he's stepped over the
Yeah.
goal line a couple of times. He may have tripped. I don't know.
But if you go back to think about committee backs,
What other teams have a close committee this year?
well, I think Packers, they've got Jones and Jamal Williams, they've got rave reviews on him at the moment.
AJ Dillon
And
coming
they've got
in.
the new Dylan.
Jamal
so-
Williams, the best NFL player to interview ever.
I haven't seen it.
He's just a little kid that looks like he's had his first Happy Meal every single
really?
time. There's just one interview where he's just chatting to a reporter and the reporter's talking, and then at the end of it, Jamal's like, "I'm sorry, I stopped listening. What did you say?" He's just got the cheekiest grin on his face the whole time.
Sounds like my bosses at work when I've got something constructive to add to the business.
You have
Sorry, what
constructive
did you
thoughts?
say?
So having a quick look
Yeah.
at
Hit that up.
teams.
Jamal Williams interview highlights. You will not be disappointed.
You getting that, Sean?
So Chiefs, hard to say because they've got the rookie there. Texans have got David Johnson and Duke Johnson.
I think the Chiefs are CEH all day, every day.
Well, but they've got one of the Williams, I think, back in him.
Darryl.
Yeah, because then Damien.
Damien's
Opted out?
Damien's opted out. I think it's CEH.
Well,
I don't
This
think
is
there's
a bad year to opt out for
I
a Chiefs
don't-
running
I
back.
don't
Yeah.
think there's a
Yeah.
committee there.
Bills just signed someone.
They might have a committee.
They've got
Singletary.
3 and
I'm a fan of Singletary, just putting it out there. He had a stellar season last year.
he did, but I think they've brought someone else in recently.
So they got Singletary, Zach Moss.
Yeah, Zach Moss.
Yeah,
Is
he's
he a rookie?
highly touted.
I think Zach Moss is the rookie. Yeah. So he might get touches.
Uh,
Then
TJ
Yeldon.
Yeldon.
Yeah.
Yeah, TJ Yeldon. They're the 3 backs.
Yeah. So Yeldon might come
See-
in on third downs.
Isn't there an
Yeah.
English? There's an English guy there.
Yeah, the English rugby fella.
Yeah.
Is he? No, I don't think he's there anymore.
Is it Jets?
Uh,
I want to say he's at the Jets.
I feel like he's at Buffalo.
I think he was there last year, but I
Yeah,
don't think he.
I don't think he did much.
I don't think he made it through the roster for this year.
No, I remember he had a big rushing touchdown in the preseason. I remember him ripping off one.
So Jets, I think, is committee with Frank and Bell. Vikings probably only got Cook. They'll probably ride him.
It could. Oh, is he going to sign that contract?
Good question. Well, he's still on his rookie deal, so
Yeah, so he's I believe he's asking for more money.
yeah. Well, I know Kamara definitely has been asking for more money.
Kamara
then-
deserves it.
Yeah,
You'd think so, yeah.
yeah. But he's got they got Murray there, so whether Murray takes some touches away
Different backs though.
from
aren't
different
they?
back though. Murray played really well when Kamara was out last
He
year,
did,
so
yeah.
it's hard to say. Washington, I think, is pretty much going to be committee after they cut the juice.
Oh, the juice. He's so good if he could not.
Yeah,
Like, if he could stay in injury free.
Bashes misses.
It's not Bashy's missions.
Oh, wait. Did he do that?
Yes, he did.
I believe so.
Hence why he was cut.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
Don't
I
want-
did not
we
keep
don't want
up with
anyone
that
suing us on
news.
our pilot run here.
When did that happen?
Allegedly.
This
week?
No, it wasn't this week. It was in this off season. Definitely, it wasn't that long ago.
Oh, what a shame. Just
Yeah.
don't hit people and you're fine.
So, yeah, the Browns. I think Hunt might still.
It's
Chubb
Chubb.
should be Chubb,
Chubb
but-
all the way. Chubb all the way.
But Hunt might steal some touches, of course. We should probably talk about the Jags and their attempt to tank for Trevor.
Oh, just they 100% are. But then you've got Minshew mania.
Well, that's going to be their question or their issue. Will Minshew win them a couple games that they don't want him to win? So they end up as like the second or third pick, and then I don't know. Well, who else is going to suck this year? I think everyone's picking Washington to be bad.
Your Washington's going to be awful, but they've got Dwayne
They've
Haskins.
got Haskins
at QB.
already,
Now,
and
if the Jags start trading away linemen, they are 100% tanking.
yeah. Well, you never know. Alex Smith may be able to come back towards the end of the year. So
In Washington.
yeah, he's been cleared to play, cleared to train.
Wow, what a recovery story.
Oh, big time recovery story. Great doco on him too. But I don't think a lot of clubs need quarterbacks.
No, quarterback market is very
Very dry.
flooded with good QBs right now.
It depends on what happens with, say, Steelers. Roethlisberger retires. Saints, if Breeze retires, do they go Taysom Hill or want someone else? But they're probably
Well,
not going to
Winston.
tank for Trevor.
Yeah,
so-
no, not with Drew Brees still at the helm. They'll keep Taysom Hill as QB and roll
Yeah.
with them. But
Possibly the
they got
Patriots will suck.
the QB extraordinaire, the most touchdowns in a season from last year,
And most intercepts.
and most interceptions.
I forgot about the
Jameis
Winston.
Winston.
30 for 30.
Yeah.
They should just make an ESPN special on how impartial of a QB Jameis Winston is.
Well, the only other ones I can
Just sharing
see,
the love.
Colts could possibly be, depending on what Rivers does, of course.
Rivers is going to ball out because he's a bad mutter.
Could very well do. But looking at quarterback situations, it really depends on, say, Jags, of course, should be one and get Trevor. But the Raiders, whether they want to keep Carr around or do something else. Bears, of course. Bears could be a shout for number 2 pick, depending if they go with Foles or Trubisky, both not your greatest quarterbacks.
Mm.
And-
Bowles is the clear choice out of them, though.
Yeah, as a veteran, yeah.
Big Dick Nick for me.
Mm-hmm. But whether their defense can help them win a couple of games so they don't not up there, they'll probably get it.
They've got they've retained so many of their defensive players from last year, and their defense was absolutely killer last
They
year.
got a great defense.
It's absolutely offensive how bad their offense is.
So at the moment, looking at it, I think the Jags are the only team that need a quarterback, and it really depends on the other teams with their aging quarterbacks. Because there's also Tampa with Brady, Matty Ice at the Falcons.
If Brady wins the Super Bowl, will he retire?
I think he's more likely to retire if he doesn't win.
I think it 100% just matters on his body.
Yeah.
If he gets banged up this year, he might give it up. I'm saying ACL week 1.
He's going to die before he retires, you'd think.
Yeah, that's the other option. He'd go until we can't go anymore.
Gee.
Penrith are playing like garbage at the moment too, by the way.
Who? Penrith.
Yes.
Hey. All right, so early picks. Let's go through maybe the divisions. Who are your picks for the divisions? Let's start with the AFC. So let's go AFC North.
So we're talking conferences now.
Conferences, yeah. So conferences.
Not divisions, baby.
Sorry.
We can do divisions.
Break it down to divisions, I would think.
Yeah,
Well,
go
that-
division starting.
Yeah,
with the
divisions.
AFC.
Let's
That'll
go
help us
divisions.
work out
Divisions of
conferences.
conference.
AFC North, Ravens.
Oh.
I'm just getting a list.
it's certainly not going to be the Bengals or the Browns. Your toss up is Ravens or Steelers.
I don't think the Steelers are good.
Well, there's a lot of analysts and talk show hosts talking about the Steelers are the worst team of that division.
Oh, for real?
And,
The Bengals have improved.
but
Bengals have not improved that much, though.
well,
They can't go down.
yeah, they can't be worse than fourth. So
How's that to be worse than the Browns in your own division? That's embarrassing.
they could very well be better than the Browns this year.
How do you reckon they're going to go Burrows?
Well, we'll put it this way:
Look who's around Burrows, though. No one.
they got Mixon. If AJ is healthy and plays a whole year,
Their receiving core is fine.
yeah, they got Tyler Boyd.
Boyd.
Yeah,
Tyler Boyd's good.
yeah. They got
AJ Green's a baller.
and
Hasn't played for 2 years.
who have they got playing tight end for them now?
Tyler Eiffert's left.
Ife's gone.
They
Uzamoa.
yeah, it's,
Oh, he was actually good at the end of last season. Yeah, he came all right. But they've got no defense, got no offensive play calling ability.
well the Steelers have got
They'll come last in that division, I would think.
Yeah,
who, Browns or Bengals.
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 Bengals. I think the Browns will finish above the Bengals.
Yeah.
I think they're either going to be 3 and 4. I reckon. Everyone's writing off the Steelers, but they got a good D.
Steelers' D is amazing.
And Roethlisberger's healthy.
He's back. He hasn't played for a year, but he's back.
The Steelers are just a team that, like, everyone, even if you hoped they sucked, they'd still do all right
Yeah,
and be at playoff chance.
They never stink.
No.
yeah.
But yeah, I'm going Ravens.
Ravens should win that.
Ravens.
Easily.
Ravens.
Yeah, I'll say Baltimore.
Ravens all around for the AFC
Baltimore
North.
easily.
Let's go south.
South, Texans, Colts, Jaguars, Titans. Jaguars clear bottom.
Yeah.
Do you think? Yeah.
Titans probably top. Texans 2 and well, I think Texans and Colts will be close.
Look,
Yeah, I agree.
I think the Colts have a sleeper good team. A good sleeper team.
It really depends if Rivers throws the right team
Yeah.
this year.
Depends which Rivers you get. Rivers is a gunslinger. He will fight till the day he dies. But I wish good things for him at the
Definitely.
Colts.
He needs a Super Bowl. He only ever had the best team almost of all time and didn't win a Super Bowl. So
When was that? 2000 and... Oh, it
When
It
you
was-
had Tomlinson
was
Gay.
about 10, 12 years ago now. 2007, 2008-ish.
that team was loaded.
Yeah.
Can someone look up if Phillip Rivers had more interceptions or children last year?
Ooh, I think he had more interceptions.
I'd say intercepts. Yeah. Can
But it'd be
he
close.
had a
It's
lot.
a close one.
someone look up Phillip Rivers intercepts and someone look up Phillip Rivers children. I think he's got 10 kids.
Oh, I think he might have more.
Do you think more than 10?
Look, another Pep's Pap wager. I'm going 12.
12.
Yep.
12 kids.
Dozen.
That's a cheaper buy. That's a lot of fucking children to have.
You get an intercept, Monkey.
I think he would have thrown.
I'll bring up interceptions.
He would have thrown more picks, but I think it would have been close.
All right. I've got Phillip Rivers.
I've got the answer to the kids.
Yep.
What
do we
you
got?
You got the intercepts? I think it's
bring it
clearly
up, yeah.
intercepts is going to be high.
Is it 11 kids?
Nah, it's only 8.
Oh, come on, Phillip. Get busy, mate.
Pussy.
Yeah, he had a pretty bad year last year.
Yeah, it was like 18 or something. wasn't
Yeah.
it?
20.
20.
As a Chargers fan, it was not great, and it gave me less ammunition to tease the Buccaneers for Jameis Winston.
30 for 30.
So we're thinking Titans are going to do good with Tannehill as the quarterback.
Yeah, I think it's Titans and Colts.
I'd give the edge to the Titans just because Derrick Henry is a monster.
He was a monster for the second half of the season.
They used him differently in the second half. They actually gave him the ball.
True. They're like, he have 40 carries a game.
Yeah. I actually wouldn't mind if
Well,
they did the
the
same
other thing is they didn't have Mariota for the second half of the year. So
Yeah.
that helps.
I don't think that was a bad thing.
They, I hope they actually do something similar so they don't wear him out at the start of the season. They don't need to do that. They've got a talented roster around him that I wouldn't mind seeing Derrick Henry actually do less at the start of the season.
Save him for the end.
Yeah, and also because someone else is probably going to have him on their fantasy team, not me.
Texans, anyone?
I think
Nah.
my thoughts are Texans and Colts will be close. That looks like try time. Penrith might have got another try.
I just don't see the Texans coming through.
They've got Deshaun Watson, they've got JJ Watt. They'll still be good, but whether they make number 2 or not will be
I
hard.
don't think they make.
I think they're I think they're a 9-7 kind of team.
Yeah.
They may sneak in, or they may miss out.
So let's call those top 3 tight, and no one's going to go deep in January, you'd think.
Yeah, Titans might make a sneaky run, like they did last year.
Agreed. AFC East?
Bills, Dolphins, Pats, and Jets.
It's not Jets or Dolphins.
No, ignore them. They are barely in the NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Bills may struggle because of Jason Allen. See how they go. Josh, sorry.
They could win that division.
Very much. I think they should.
I hope they do.
You
It
know,
sucks to consider the fact that the Patriots, who've lost half of their starting defense, who have just signed a quarterback at the last minute, albeit MVP caliber
former
player,
MVP.
Former MVP.
it just sucks the thought that the Patriots could still just clean sweep that division.
I don't think they'll sweep it. However, do you know the Buffalo Bills have not won the AFC East since the late 1990s?
Yeah. My gosh.
So it's been a while. Do you also know that the New England Patriots on the new Madden game are 78?
Well, half their team opted out. That's the other
78.
thing, so
78.
I don't think their defense is going to be as good this year.
No, I don't think so either. I still think they finish above the Jets and Dolphins.
I think the Dolphins may sneak above them, but it'll be close. Depends on how if Fitzmagic can win them a couple of games. Manage to pull some out.
Bills for that division?
Bills for that division.
Well, let's go Bills.
I'll say Bills.
I can't, with good conscience, say the Patriots.
And
Again,
for the poor people of Buffalo, please, the Bills, please.
Yeah, I don't think the Bills are going to go deep though.
Has anyone been to Buffalo?
No, it's pretty cold there.
It is a shithole. It's really they need a good sports team.
Yeah.
All right, let's go out west.
Chiefs won.
This is the best division in the AFC.
Yes.
Oh,
Chargers are in it.
Yeah, we'll agree that it's the best division
Absolutely it
in the
is.
AFC.
You are correct.
I think it'll be pretty. It's always very competitive.
The Raiders can
Chiefs.
forget them. Forget the Raiders.
Yeah, right.
Oh, come on. Who's in the Raiders that you're paying attention to?
They've got a solid vet team. Let's put it that way.
Jacobs is a good running back. Derek
Look.
Carr manages the game.
Have you not heard that COVID-19 destroys
They just
nursing homes?
They just
it
true.
doesn't matter if they've got a vet team. They've got a crap team.
True,
is what
true.
they've got.
Williams, their wide receiver, just did his ankle or shoulder out for the year.
Oof, that's rough.
I'm not sure what their receiver. They've got the Rugs.
Henry.
Henry the Rugs.
Solid pickup out of Bama.
But I think he's been struggling with the hamstring issues, which not unsurprising for a bloke that runs that fast.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's much else around him besides Jason Witten. So I don't think they're going to do overly great. I think the Chargers, unfortunately, Pappy may struggle a little bit.
No, what
Offensive-
are you talking about?
Defensive wise, I think they're fine.
No.
Offensive,
No,
Tyrod Taylor's not taking them
We're
anywhere.
stacked. Yes, he is.
No, he's not.
Yes, he
He
is.
doesn't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
Tyrod.
That's all we need. Don't
Tyrod-
turn the ball
He
over.
doesn't turn it over.
Yeah, doesn't score touchdowns either. But
Receiving core, absolutely balls lights out. Austin Eckler, Nugget running back extraordinaire.
He's
So-
jacked.
Pound for pound
He's very-
will smack you sideways.
He's
so when they
very
go
jacked.
6-10, Pappy, I'll come back to you.
No, we're taking the division. Chargers all the way. Chiefs, who dat?
Chiefs, I think I'll probably go 14-2 this year.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, I think it'll depend if Paddy does his knee or does something like he did last year.
Gets COVID.
Gets COVID. That's probably his biggest risk.
Maybe it's not the most stacked division in the AFC.
It's both Chiefs and Broncos have young quarterbacks. They're trying to work out the quarterback position, see how they go. Both have got pretty good defenses.
We got
they'll-
over the Broncos, Drew Lock, the rapping white boy.
Buzz Lightyear. We'll see how
He
they go.
looks about 10 years old. Like, does he get a permission slip to go to the games on Sundays?
Oh, I'm a bit worried about his receding hairline, but anyway.
Aren't we all? So,
I think both of them could be, 10 and 6 teams, or they could be 6 and 10 teams. Like, it really depends.
Yeah.
should we all try and pick our 6 playoff teams from the AFC?
So, we've gone Bills, Chiefs, Ravens, and Titans as number ones.
Mm-hmm.
That seems pretty legit.
So then,
I'll throw- I'll
who's our
throw
two
in-
wild cards?
I'll throw into that mix.
There are 7 playoff positions this year, remember?
Oh, yes, you are right.
Extra team.
I'll
I
throw into
think-
that mix. Patriots, Colts, Steelers.
Yeah, they're probably those. Or there'll be one from the West, whether it's Chargers or Broncos.
I would ditch the Steelers for the Chargers. I'd ditch anyone for the Chargers. They're my
There's
team.
no personal bias there.
Yeah.
Just good football.
I'm happy with your list, baby.
I think it's a weaker division in football.
Yeah. NFC is much
Other than the Chiefs.
much diverse.
All right, well, that's a good segue to bump off over to the NFC.
The North.
NFC North.
Oh, please.
Some-
You want it to be the Packers, don't you?
There's some good sides up there. I think the Vikings would be okay. I think the Bears off the back of their defense will be okay. I think the Lions will be pretty poo.
No. Hold up on the Lions. The Lions last year almost won. Now, bear with me. They almost won almost all of the games they lost.
Indeed.
So they were competitive the entire time.
I think, if you look at the number of games they lost by less than a touchdown, it would be most of them.
It almost rivals the Chargers.
They lost to Stafford for half the year, so it's
I think that the Lions could be the biggest surprise. I'm not saying they'll win, but I think the Lions could be the biggest surprise team out of the North.
I don't think they'll bother anyone in that division.
I think they'll be better than the Bears. That's my opinion.
It'd be cool.
But I think they're 3 and 4 in that division.
Best team?
Yeah. Vikings.
I think it'll end up being the Vikings because I'm not sure what's going to happen with the pack.
I think Green Bay's the best team in that.
I agree with you, and I think Rodgers is going to ball out, but then I don't think that team is there to help Rodgers.
They're not going to make it all the way through the season.
No.
Oh, well, I'm more worried about the politics in the background than I are about the team.
Chances of Rodgers getting benched this year for Love.
0.
If he
This year?
if he's
Yeah.
8
0.
if he's
No
8
way
and
this
4
year.
or 8 and 5, I think they bench him.
Oh, Rest him.
Ooh.
No, I'm going to
bench.
bench him. Depends.
Them's big words.
Gonna
So-
have another Favre situation.
So my comparison
Yes.
here was Jake the Snake Plumber. He was 8 and
Mhm,
4, and they
mhm.
benched him for Jay Cutler.
Well, that turned
Oh.
out so good for him.
No, yeah, exactly. They lost of the next 4 games they had left. I think they
Mhm.
lost all, missed the playoffs.
I think there's no way in hell that Aaron Rodgers gets benched this year for Jordan Love.
So Brisbane had just scored a try to bring it back to 2010, but it was 17 to go. Ooh, might make it interesting here.
I mean, you'd also like to think that the Packers would have drafted Aaron Rodgers, a receiver,
Yeah.
in the first round.
So did everyone
if
else.
they're on the
Ever.
same page, you'd think so.
Yes.
Not much is making sense.
Especially in probably the strongest receiving class that we've seen
The last
in
like 5 years.
recent memory.
The treatment Aaron Rodgers has gotten has been an absolute joke, and he has been a class act not to just walk around flipping the bird at everyone.
He won him a Super Bowl and he'll be first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah, he'll be at the Patriots next year.
Like, he could be still... oh, gosh.
I was
Interesting.
going to say Tampa Bay.
He will be in the Hall of Fame
True.
before he's retired. Like, he's that good of a player to not give him some weapons and go, hey, Aaron, you want someone to throw to? I got you, mate. Don't worry. Like,
Do you
no,
want some
that
help?
conversation was never had. What a joke.
Yeah.
Vikings win.
Well, so that's my thoughts on why the Vikings. Vikings
Vikings / maybe Packers.
Yeah. So
NFC
be close.
East.
Vikings missing Diggs might be interesting. We'll see how Cousins go. Throw him to just Thielen, and I think Thielen's been a little bit hurt so far. I could be wrong on that. I just thought I saw
Thielen's still a
something.
beast.
He's still a beast, but
Yes.
no Diggs means he's getting double covered. So how much of a beast
Is he a good standalone number one then? Yeah, good point.
I think he will be
But if you die, you die.
If you die, you die.
less touted than he is this year, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
With Diggs gone, I think he gets more attention. I think Kyle Rudolph's over the hill. I think
They've got Ivan Smith there.
yeah.
As the second tight end.
I think Thielen never has the season that he had 2 years ago.
Dalvin Cook, look out for 1,000 touches this year. You're going to have to carry the team.
10,000.
All right, so here we go. I got Vikes.
Yeah, I think Vikes won. 2 Packers.
All right.
And
The
I'll-
South.
I'll go Packers.
well, the South is probably.
Well, hold up, Monks. Who you got for the North?
The North
Yeah. If you say the Bears, I'm going to slap you.
Lions.
I like the Lions. I like the Lions. This is a
Nah,
sneaky pick.
It'd have to be the Vikings, but very close between them and Packers. Like Packers is getting to playoffs either way.
Yeah. That's good.
All right, so South is probably the strongest division in the NFL.
On paper.
On paper.
Them and the NFC West, I would say.
I mean, if it's not
Yeah.
the Tampa Bay Buccaneers,
Yeah, West is pretty close to you.
I'm going to feel sorry for everyone in that organisation.
The Saints.
I think
It's
Saints.
the
Saints. I think the Saints are still the best team.
You
I think Saints
you
are the
can't
best
get
team.
past the Saints.
I think Tampa. I think maybe Saints go 12-4 and Tampa goes 11-5.
Yeah, something like that.
I
Yeah.
think that's probably.
So they're both going to be solid. Both end up in playoffs.
But then like Falcons and Panthers.
Ordinary.
Both.
Yeah, ordinary.
Well, they're both probably 10-6 teams.
yeah.
So they could also be in the hunt there. But
I disagree. I don't think either of those teams are 10 and 6 teams.
I think the Falcons are going to go
Okay.
offense, their defense.
Carolina's defense is going to be very ordinary, which is unusual for the Panthers.
Well, what the Falcons made Super Bowl 3 years ago. 2 years.
Their whole team has changed
So the-
since then.
Well, they still got Matty Ice. They still got Julio. Got Calvin Ridley coming through. They've got Gurley now as running back.
Yeah.
So I think their
Oh, yeah, forgot about Gurley.
I think their offense is good. Their defense has really struggled, but they do have what's their head coach's name? Smith, Dan Smith.
Mm-hmm.
Was the Seahawks defensive coach for a long time. So
Mhm.
I think they're going to be a middle of the pack kind of team. So that's why I'm saying 10-6. Panthers on the other end, McCaffrey, Bridgewater. That's about it.
It'll be interesting to see Bridgewater go this year.
Yeah, it will be.
Won 5 games out of 5.
Yeah,
so
he didn't lose a game when he was a starter at New
managed
Orleans.
the games, scored some touchdowns, didn't turn the ball over. That's all we got to do. His job's not hard. Give it to McCaffrey.
That is their game plan.
Yeah,
Have one job.
Find the short white guy, pass it in.
What happens if CMC goes down?
They're fucked. Whoever picks him in our fantasy draft is fucked.
That's funny. So from that division,
Saints,
I'm going
Saints,
Bucks.
Bucks are the two that worry
I'm
about.
going
and
Bucks.
I'm going to say they both make the playoffs.
Oh, I think they're both playoff teams. Yeah.
The NFC East,
East, Cowboys, Giants, Eagles, Washington.
Ugh,
2 teams.
4 teams no one cares about.
No, I think the Cowboys could be surprising. I think Philly, who knows?
I will be surprised by the Cowboys when they actually show up.
What's happening with Dak?
Has he signed a contract yet?
Yeah.
No contract.
No.
I think he's playing under. I think he's playing under the tag
Oh, okay.
Wow.
because they're all actually kind of similar built team. Not that well, the Cowboys and Giants are similar built. Young kind of quarterback in stud running back.
Good offensive line.
Yeah,
Both.
good offensive lines,
Well,
receivers.
The offensive line for Dallas is awesome.
Yeah, and they've got Cooper. Well, their receivers now. They've got Amari Cooper. They've got Gallup, who they got a year or two ago, and then they just got CeeDee Lamb. So they've got some receivers. They've got quarterback, running back, offensive line there.
They might be the most talented team on offense in the league.
They could go close. It really depends on how Dak plays.
Yeah.
You
I
need good
would
Dak, not bad
like
Dak.
it to be the Cowboys in this division, but until proven otherwise, it's going to be the Eagles for me.
Yeah, Washington going to be poo. Eagles really depends on how Wentz is healthy, and well, half his receiving core gets hurt all the time. So I
Do you think the
think
Giants are any better this year?
No.
I don't think they did nothing at receiver. Offensive line's pretty good. Their defense is so. But they got Saquon. Dan Jones has got to take a step. Shepard, Sterling's all they got really.
Sterling Shepard.
Yep.
I think they'll be slightly better than last year. I don't think they were a playoff
That's a
team.
pretty low bar, though.
Well, I think
What were they last year? 4-12.
Yeah, but
Something like
Barkley
that.
was hurt at the start of the year, and I think he's going to have a big year. Again, Dan Jones' job just handed off to him. Hope he does good.
Dane Downs.
Yeah, right.
I think
Eagles for me.
Yeah, I think it's Eagles Cowboys will be top 2 on that.
Cowboys for me.
I'm
Bucks.
thinking Cowboys.
Ah, boo.
To the west?
Due to West. Cards, Rams, Niners, and Seahawks.
This again might
I
be,
like
might,
this division.
I think this might be the best
Very
division of
interesting.
football. I know I've said that a few times.
I think
Like, if you want entertaining games, every single game, watch these games. These division games are going to be good no matter who's playing.
Mm-hmm.
Penrith just went in again, and I think that'll probably do Brisbane. Probably too many. 12,
Yeah, you'd say
12
Brisbane's
possibly
done.
14 to go with.
Valiant effort, though, from the Broncos after getting dished
So-
last weekend.
So is that 10 or 11 in a row for Penrith?
I believe it's 12.
12.
I think it's 12.
Their team built to choke. That's just my thoughts. They'll go all in the playoffs and then they'll choke.
That's usually what the Saints will do in the NFL.
No. The refs, fuck them. Because no one wants to see the Saints in the Super Bowl. Roger calls them up and says, make it happen. We need Brady in there.
NFC West, where...
So my thoughts, Rams are the worst team in this division.
I second that.
Arizona
Absolutely.
improved.
Yeah.
So I think Arizona might be sneaky good, or they're probably the third team in this division.
I think Seattle and San Francisco both make the playoffs.
They're going to be
Yeah.
one. They're 1 and 2 for me.
I
Definitely 1 and 2.
I'd give the edge to Seattle
Mm-hmm.
just for what I like out of a team, and I just think that Seattle is going to be unstoppable for a lot of the year.
DK is going to be better. Chris Carson's going to be better. Tyler Lockett, you'd think he's going to be better.
Their end zone celebrations are going to be tightly rehearsed.
So
There's going to be some Backstreet Boys and some NSYNC. Oh, it's not to love.
So the one thing for the Niners is I don't think their defense can be as good as it was last year. So it's probably-
Who have they lost of defense?
well, they traded Forrest, I think, away
Mm-hmm.
to Colts. Maybe?
Lost me on that one.
DeForest Buckner.
Yeah. So, but they still got the young Bosa there. So
Mm-hmm.
they still probably going to be killer, but I don't think it's going to be as good as it was last year. They might take a small step back.
Mm-hmm.
but
just
I
a
just-
side
I
note,
just-
Small Bear is going to the Chargers in a couple of years. Just saying. You heard it here first.
What is he? Because they're going to get the first round pick. Or?
No, it's because Big Bear, Joey, signed a deal worth infinite millions of dollars, pretty much.
True.
And
Huge
the Bosa brothers want to play together. So Joey signed a big deal. Nick is going to come play the Chargers later on. Carry
Oh.
on, proceed.
Or he gets the back end of the deal and they're like, you're too expensive, we're going to trade you the 49ers.
No, hush, hush, hush. hush.
Anyway, my concern with the 49ers, of course, is their offense. Outside of Kittle, Debo's hurt at the moment. They've got a rookie receiver.
And they've just
That's
signed
about it.
the one and only Josh Gordon
Have they really?
as of today.
I missed that.
Yeah, I missed that too.
I mean, so maybe they'll get half a season out of him
True.
Half that.
before he does another Nike commercial and tears a hamstring.
Yeah. Well,
Legalize it,
Kittle's
man.
been struggling with a hamstring.
Legalize it.
But
That's
yeah,
all I can
outside of
say.
Kittle, you're not sure about Jimmy G at this stage. So
He's a reliable quarterback.
He does his job, yeah.
He does his job. He does his job. He's nothing.
except when you Super Bowls.
Well, he made it.
Well, he did nothing in that conference game.
Yeah, he did.
But then again, you didn't have to do very much.
Picks out of this, I'm saying
You sure that Josh Gordon went to the 49ers?
I saw it today. It was on Instagram. So look, it's not necessarily gospel.
Yeah, I can't find anything. The only thing I see is that Josh Gordon sold his Super Bowl ring from the Patriots for $140K.
Yeah.
That's the only news I can find for Josh Gordon. Nothing about 49ers.
Well, sorry, everyone. I guess I gave out some fake news then.
fake news.
I suck it in. But what? Did he play in the Super Bowl?
Yeah, for Patriots.
Yeah,
he was on the. He was on.
I think it was
he
on
was-
the list.
He did nothing, but he was on the team.
It's like I just think it's sad when you see someone sell their Super Bowl ring.
So I can see. There's a lot of talk about possibility of him signing for the 49ers, but nothing concrete yet.
I could see him doing it.
So,
Like he's one of those people that like you don't actually pay that much to get an insane talent if you can make it work. if you can make it work.
No one's been able to. That's the thing.
Smoke weed every day. So what were we saying? Hawks 1, Niners 2?
Yeah.
That's my bet.
With a sneaky cards might surprise some guys.
I think the Cards would be better. I don't think the Rams will be bad.
I don't think they'll be bad. I just don't think they're the worst team in that division.
I do
I
think
agree.
they'll be bad. There's nothing out of the Rams since they lost the Super Bowl that's been encouraging.
They've been trending downwards.
They gave Goff too much money and then couldn't pay anyone else. So
Who's our 6 playoff teams from the NFC?
Can we just... Seahawks and 49ers are in?
Yep.
So who do we have in the East? The Cowboys?
Cowboys
we
for
pick
me.
Cowboys,
I don't
yeah.
reckon 2 from that division will get in.
I agree.
So just the Cowboys.
Mhm.
The South, I reckon 2 will get in from the South.
Saints and Bucks.
Yep.
Yep.
And then the North,
So you got
Vikings.
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 Yeah, so
So the 7th would be the Pack.
there you go. That's your 7. So I think 7's not too bad when you look at it that way.
The
those
7
teams.
teams spread, though, across the NFC is far stronger than the AFC.
Agreed.
Mm.
I think in the AFC it's Chiefs, Daylight, and then
Or Chiefs, Ravens, daylight.
Yeah, Ravens.
Chiefs,
Ra-
Chargers,
Apologies.
Ravens, and then Daylight.
Chiefs, Ravens, Daylight. No one else really bothers me in that.
Because the next teams you're talking about that'd give you a run are the Titans.
Yeah.
And
Titans. and
who would
Bills.
be confident? Titans and who?
Bills?
The Bill. Yeah, it's like
not worried. Not worried about either of those.
flip a
teams.
coin whether those
Yeah.
teams will actually win on any given day.
Yeah, but Saints, Bucks, Vikings, Packers, 49ers, Seahawks, you worried about them.
Yeah,
all the
Indeed.
time.
Yeah.
Indeed.
well, that's
Super Bowl pick.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Well, who wins the conference? Let's go there first.
I'm gonna say
So,
So start with the AFC.
so AFC, we're picking between Chiefs and Ravens, as we said.
I'm gonna say Chiefs again.
Chiefs. So we're going Chiefs versus
it's hard to not. They're pretty much the same team with a couple of improvements.
true.
Like, how could you not?
If they're healthy, they're going to do good things. So if we rule out the Cowboys and say Niners, Seahawks, Packers, Vikings, Saints, Bucks, who's your top pick out of them?
I like New Orleans. I think their offense is explosive. Their defense is the best it's been in years. Might be Drew's last chance this year.
Oh, well, I'd love for Drew to get another Super Bowl. If it had to be anyone, if you
Mm.
give it to one person that deserves it,
Yeah, he does.
that could get there. I
He-
don't think the Colts will get there.
Mm.
Rivers deserves it, but he won't get there.
Yeah, Drew.
You'd want it to be the Saints. But I reckon the Seahawks might push them.
Agreed.
Yeah, I don't think the Vikings or Pack push them.
No.
I think Hawks, Saints, and Bucks maybe. Depends how well the Bucks kind of go together. They could be a sneaky team, but maybe not. So, you're picking between Saints and Seahawks. Either one of them is pretty juicy to play the Chiefs in the Super Bowl.
The tricky thing with the Bucks right now is it's a team that has everything right on paper.
Well,
Will it actually mesh?
Yeah, the problem, every dream team that's ever been put together on paper at the start of the year always fails. They all go buy all of the free agents and they come in the season. Who were the Eagles? I think the classic example, 6 or 7 years ago? They were.
When Chip Kelly got in,
Yeah, and I
Yep.
think they got, of like the top 20 free agents, they got like 5 or 6 of them. They're saying, hey, we're building the dream team. We're going to go and win the Super Bowl. And I think that they didn't even.
make playoffs.
I don't even think they made 500. Like they didn't.
Yeah.
They went even.
The only thing that that gives me pause with the Bucks really is that everyone there's so much hype about the deal with Brady going from the Pats to the Bucks, and Brady will go down as the GOAT. But has he been the best quarterback in the league in terms of gameplay over the last couple of years? And that's where as far as a game manager and making smart choices, yeah, sure, he's fantastic. But in terms of ability, I don't know if he's at the same level as his prime. He's not bad and better than most quarterbacks in the league.
Well, even still, if you look at athletic ability and pure talents like physical arm capability, he's not your number one pick.
yeah, no. So
But that's the
have
But that's not what-
Bucks
that's not
bought
what-
the
No,
name
that's not
brand.
That's not what it comes down to. It
Yeah.
comes down to how much you win. You know, it comes down to what you put on paper. And I think if you look at the stats, it's him.
Yeah, well,
There's always, and I think this season will clearly show us like it's always going to be that argument: is Brady like that system quarterback, and Belichick was key to everything, or is Brady the talent? And
and that's
Who was
the
the
same.
master and who was the apprentice?
We're
Yeah.
going to get some answers this year, one way or another.
It'd be very interesting.
true. But then there's also the other bit that he's in his 40s. So,
He's 43. That is so old.
It's mental.
yeah.
So
But
It's
old.
mental.
It's also if looking at it, you're not buying him for the physical ability. You're buying him for what he's done, experience in his mind,
Indeed.
and what Bruce Arians' offense is very much about picking spots and making decisions and getting the ball in the right area.
You can do that.
There's probably no one better than him at that.
Yeah.
Him, Rogers, and Breeze are like in their
game
own
management.
kind of area to be able to do that.
Yeah. Well,
So, all right.
they could be a really exciting team to watch. And I mean, for the sake of football,
I
I
mean-
hope they are.
Yeah, me too. I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can do.
They've got Gronk. They're always going to be interesting.
Hey.
Gronk smash.
I can't believe he came out of retirement for this Bucks
How old
team.
is he?
I
He's
reckon he was
31 now?
always going to come out
No,
of
I think
retirement.
he's a bit older than that. I think he's
Oh, I didn't think he was
33.
Gronk.
Someone get that?
I'll get
Yeah.
that real quick.
It's going to be an exciting team to watch. So
31.
hopefully,
31.
Gee,
First
you
time I
would
was wrong. That's young. That's so
Yeah, he's young.
young.
he's been beat up though.
Oh,
this
yeah.
So
whole
he retired
career.
the way I remember, he retired at 29, had his year off, and he's 31.
He's had back surgery, ACL surgery, forearm surgery, I believe.
Yeah, you got to watch out for those TJ Wards coming across the middle of the field.
I'll get you.
So if we're saying Saints, Chiefs, Super Bowl, who wins?
Chiefs for me.
Yep.
I,
That might be the best offense ever.
if I'm thinking about it, and if I compare it to last year, if the Saints get out in front by 20 points, don't think the Chiefs can make it up on them because of their defense. But then, the Niners didn't jump out in front of them too far, did they?
No.
Which I think is what they needed to do because Chiefs are always going to chase you down on points.
Yeah, the Chiefs were behind in every single playoff game,
Yeah.
Yeah.
including the Super Bowl.
I think by 10 or more points at one stage.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
think-
of all of them. In fact, it was
Besides
such
the
a big deal that they got the deficit scores for their playoff wins printed on their Super Bowl ring
I did that.
yeah.
on the inside. So it's not on the outside. You have to see the inside of the band. But they've got their playoff wins and their deficits that they overcame.
I think all the games but the Super Bowl, they had 20-point deficits.
Jeez.
Came back.
Few, isn't
At
it?
least 3 touchdowns.
That's freakish.
It's crazy. But I don't think they'd make up that amount of points against the Saints team if we think their defense is going to be as good as we think it's going to be.
That makes sense to me. All right. Well, Chiefs is the pick. Back to back. Can they do it?
Put your house on it. Joel, put a bet on it, please.
No, Joel, don't pull a bet on it.
Well, someone pull it up. They're probably paying $2 something.
No, I think they're a bit longer than that, but I believe they are the favourites.
Ooh. I'd say the definite.
Safest money if you're talking Super Bowl picks right now without knowing what's going to happen.
Kansas City. Yeah, I agree.
Did you lads want to talk a little bit about NFL fantasy? Considering we've got our draft coming up this week.
Yeah, let's do it.
What do you want to start with?
You all suck and I'm going to win.
Says the one-time winner over here.
Hey, you've won it, what?
3 times.
3, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
Cheater.
get good.
Yeah, it's going to be a tricky year, especially with conditions that we don't know. What we
Well,
don't know.
Let's talk
Yeah.
first round. Let's talk
Mhm.
first round draft
Mhm.
picks. I think Joel's 1, Mark's 2, I'm 3, Padgett's 4,
Mm-hmm.
Tabby 5,
Something like that.
Steamer,
Me.
Pappas, Peppy.
9 and
I'm
No,
Tony 7, 10.
Tony's 10. Yeah, you're 9, Tony's 10. So let's hope Joel does something stupid.
Joel will do something stupid. It should be Christian McCaffrey first off the block.
Yeah, but
if we're going this year, this league's PPR.
Yeah, you'd think so.
CMC. If it's not CMC, you deserve to be slapped.
Yes, but it is Joel. So he may. I was actually looking this up because I had a feeling he took a lot of quarterbacks, but he's actually taken a lot of wide receivers for his first round pick. Last year was Adams. The year before that, I think, did he have AB? I can't remember, but he's taken a lot of receivers in the first round. So I know you're thinking of keeping Thomas.
Yeah, I think I will.
So that's one.
Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
Can't guard Mike.
Best decision he made last year was pick Odell 1 and Thomas in the second round.
Very deliberate.
Yeah, it was picks 10 and 11, wasn't it?
Correct.
Yeah, it was.
Yep.
Because I was a champion.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
So
Can he return to former glory?
I was fucking close last year.
yeah, it went close.
So
who's Julio's got to be 2 then?
No.
Who'd be the number 2 receiver?
out of receivers?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
It's
out of
close.
receivers.
It's close. Julio, there's an argument for. Devontae Adams, there's an argument for. DeAndre Hopkins is an argument for.
I think Hopkins is a bit further down.
What about Amari Cooper?
2?
As number 2 wide receiver in the league.
I mean, he was targeted a lot by Dak. We're PPR here.
2.
He had some games where he put up a goose egg.
Mm-hmm.
Two games where he put up a goose egg. But the games where he performed, he was targeted quite considerably.
I don't care. Yeah, but goose eggs don't do anything for you. I'd rather someone that just puts up 12 points every game than someone that's going to go 30 one week and goose egg another week.
8 catches, 80 yards.
Yeah.
16 points every week.
Boom.
So I think Julio's 2. If I remember correctly, he's the number 2 wide receiver.
Yeah, I'd tend to agree with that.
So would he take Julio 1? Hopefully he's not that stupid.
No.
I just don't want if he doesn't pick CMC, that'll just make me happy.
It's got to be running back focus.
Yeah.
The league's so much deeper at receiver than it is at running back.
Yeah. So I think the first.
But does PPR change that mentality?
No, I don't believe so. Because you got to
especially the top end of the running backs. Most of those guys get 50 catches a year anyway. So.
Yeah, let's drop out the thought of keepers for a second because the keepers are for our league. But just talking about the talent overall, you got to be thinking about the Alvin Kamaras up there for running backs.
Yeah, well, Alvin, Dalvin, Zeke, Barkley are all up there. I think Aaron Jones slightly falls into the first round. Eckler's getting picked probably at 10.
I think 8 overall out of running backs.
Yeah, so he's up there pretty high.
Thank goodness I have him as a keeper.
Yeah.
What round are you getting him?
7.
Yeah, it's not bad. Good value.
That is bloody excellent, actually.
And I'm keeping Nick Chubb as well, and I get him in 10.
Yep.
No.
No, was he 10 last year?
So maybe 9.
Maybe 9.
Yeah.
Really, that's good.
That's good value.
Look out, boys. Nick Chubb, actually, for a crappy team on the Browns, does an awesome job year in, year out. Just a little nugget with a chip on his shoulder.
Yeah. He's got to because Mayfield's not helping him out.
Nope.
How long's he been in the league, Nick Chubb? 2 years?
This is his third year. Yeah.
Is Kareem Hunt of value this year?
Nope. Not in my opinion.
I think you're looking at Chubb, maybe 20 touches a game and maybe 5 for Hunt.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that switches depending on injuries and game situations. But, yeah, I think that's probably what they'll try to start with. But otherwise, first rounders, Thomas and Julio, the only ones you could probably make a conversation for. But yeah, it's definitely running. The other running back we didn't mention was the Chiefs running back, CH.
Clyde Edwards-Helaire.
Clyde Edwards.
C-E-H.
C-E-H.
Yeah. So
I believe the H is silent.
He could be. I think he's getting picked 6 as an average at the moment.
Yeah, I've seen that.
But he's probably your biggest boom or bust in that he could go 1,000 yards and get 50, 60 catches this year. So he could be up there with CMC kind of numbers.
He could be a top 3 running back.
Yeah, he could be really up there, or he could
be not much of a
Nothing.
factor.
Yeah,
I-
maybe
That's been
maybe
Chiefs
Scoot's
running
fine.
backs for a while now.
Under Andy Reid, I think that's what they do. They really invest in a guy, and
But then again, when they had Kareem Hunt there, different story.
we went gangbusters.
Exactly. So it'd be interesting to see what they do if they've got, he was their first rounder this year, so picked him 32. Walk him straight in there and see how he goes.
We'll see. It's going to be using the PPR format for the first time this year is going to add a few different learning curves to our game for fantasy.
Be quite interesting to see how we go.
Definitely change the dynamic of the running back. The guy that catches passes becomes more of an asset. Your Austin Eckler's, your Tariq Cohen.
Well, they've got more of a position place than they did
Yeah,
versus
exactly.
a pure only running back. The only running back I think it really hurts is probably Derrick Henry.
Yeah, it doesn't catch the ball at all.
Because I think all the others get enough catches. Josh Jacobs only did 20 last year.
Yeah.
But he had bad shoulders, so maybe healthy, get him involved a bit more in the game plan on third down, catches more balls.
It definitely it does change the way you look at the game.
Josh Jacobs is probably an early second, maybe late first, depending how you view him.
So what about receivers then? Because you got the tops of the Michael Thomas,
So many
Julio
receivers.
Jones. What about that next tier down? Like, are we still looking at players like Larry Fitzgerald? Is he still viable
No, I don't think so.
in PPR?
I don't think so anymore with Hopkins and they got Andy Isabella. They've got
Christian Kirk.
and they've got someone else there as well. Someone they
Nuke
drafted.
Nuke
this year.
Hopkins is
DeAndre.
absolute beast.
I don't remember his name. Big fella. I think did they draft? I can't remember. They had some reviews on him.
But what about guys like are going to be super reliable in the middle of the field? Won't really get in the end zone all that much, like Jarvis Landry. Like, plays for the Browns, but like someone's got to catch it, and he catches it a lot. He's shifty and just gets open.
Yeah, well, him and Edelman are the classic PPR kind of guys that you target. Might not get many TDs, but you're going to get
That's
maybe
your
10 targets a
consistency.
game kind of thing, and consistency. They'll get you those, 6-7 catches and 60, 70 yards, and that gets you into double-digit points.
Yeah.
Very consistent. But I don't think those. I don't even think they're that second tier. I think they're more third or fourth tier.
Yeah.
Then
Agreed.
because you're still looking for those guys that may score 8 touchdowns a year, kind of thing. You're looking
Yeah.
for those number ones and twos as you go down. Because there's 32 number ones and there's 32 number twos. So there's about 64 guys you can pick from. And a league for us, where there's 10 teams and you need 2 of them, that's only 20.
I mean, I'd still be looking at guys like Tyler Lockett.
Oh, definitely.
Um,
Solid number 2.
yeah.
Or arguably number 1 and DK's
upside
2.
to number 1.
Inconsistent Tyler Lockett.
But maybe with DK getting more involved on the outside, Tyler can do his thing. And
He's
in the
more of
slot.
like the Adam Thielen type of thing, what you're talking about. Like, if he doesn't have a good second, he is a bit jammed up.
Maybe that's why I brought Paul Richardson back. So
Yeah.
you can move him 100% to the slot and you play Richards at 2
Oh,
and
that'd be so good for
DK
Tyler
at 1.
Lockett. Tight ends? Kittle, Kelsey, and then who?
Daylight.
Yeah, they're clearly the favourites, as in they're probably second or third rounders.
Zach Ertz this year dropped off.
Yeah, dropped off. They've also got another tight end there he's got to compete with.
Dallas got it.
But there's a lot of guys, I think, with potential in that second tier.
Yeah, your Hunter Henrys,
Yep.
your Dallas Goddards.
Yep. Eric Ebron, he's over at the Steelers
Yeah,
now.
Eric
so,
Ebron. He had a good year last year.
Austin Hooper's at the Browns.
That'd be interesting.
Hayden Hurst's at the Falcons. Tyler Higbee's at the Rams. So there's a lot more options than there were last year.
Yeah.
Last year was so bad. Jared Cook's still at the Saints, of course. But he's going to struggle for targets, but he got both touchdowns last year.
I think it's still a massive jump between
Those two.
Kelsey and Kittle and the rest.
Yeah. They're getting wide receiver numbers and guaranteed to get wide receiver numbers. they'll both do 80 receptions and almost 1,000 yards. Easy.
I think Kittle had number 1 yards after catch out of any pass catcher last year.
Yeah, it's because he was rolling over fools.
That's ridiculous.
For those following
He's a
home, Brisbane
ridiculous
lost
human.
as expected.
All right, so kickers. Jokes, kickers aren't people.
Just don't pick a kicker in the second round.
Don't do a Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
What about Roberto Aguao?
Yeah, where's he playing now?
Canadian Football League?
Yeah.
In the maple syrup, eh? Defense.
Hard to pick. I've seen Steelers are actually
Yeah, that's
rated very, very high.
Yeah.
They projected
There's-
1.
Yeah.
Their D's solid. I think that the Bears' D would be rated higher if their offense
Offense was
didn't suck so
yeah.
much. Like, that is a team where they have a higher chance of scoring when their offense is off the field.
Yeah. Well, that's the problem you've got with the Steelers as well, because you're very much reliant on, James Conner's back, Roethlisberger's back.
Yeah.
If that's not the case, then they're the team they were at the end of the last year, where they've got the good defense hanging in games, but their offense just can't help them out.
Yeah.
So I think, who else? The Niners, Ravens, and Seahawks were the other one? No, Seahawks, that's not right.
What about the Chargers?
The Chargers aren't up.
Boo.
They'll get sacks, but they've got no DBs. So.
I'm looking at this right. The
Are
Bills
you
pretty highly
kidding
ranked as
me?
well.
You got the
Oh.
rankings there, Max?
The disdain.
Say it again.
So I'm looking at San Fran, Steelers,
Yep.
Ravens, Bills.
Bills. That's the one I'm missing.
Patriots are still ranked pretty high.
That was before half the
That's-
team opted
yeah.
out, so
Bears,
they're going to be very different this year.
Saints, Chiefs, Vikings.
This is a
Is that
joke
Joel
that the
Thompson
Chargers are
retiring?
not up there. I'm offended.
Peppy, was that Joel Thompson? He's going to retire.
I believe so. They got Mary McGregor on the couch here. Poor fella.
Oh, well, he's got nothing better to do.
I thought he was working on his hair regrowth.
He didn't have much to do while he was over at Dragons either. But anyway,
He didn't have anyone who was playing.
it was a good question. NFL virtual fans. Actually, I did see
Very difficult to do in a football stadium.
you could buy cardboard cutouts.
Really?
$100.
$100.
Everything's more expensive in the US, of course. That's $100 US too to get your. I was thinking of doing one for the Denver for getting in there for the Broncos in one of the games. But it's I was like, $100 better than $20 here.
Yeah, that's true. Goes a long way.
That'd be hilarious.
Yeah.
If you were able to do that.
Oh my god. Righto, well, we might wrap up this
I think they might do
episode. The pilot of On the Esky. Well done to everyone chipping in.
Thanks for coming, boys.
We'll see you next week on pilot 2 of On the Esky.
Loved ya.
Everyone think of a catchphrase to finish the episode. Okay, bye.